do you still see that leadership is being controllership and being accepted well in the organization, or I think times have changed where the expectations has to be other way around?
The expectation from people and from businesses has changed of what you want leaders to do,
Right.
what leaders should be doing. So I think there was a time when leaders were operationally involved in day-to-day stuff. A lot of times people would say, look, I'm a hands-on leader, and we all have heard of this phrase, very hands-on leader. I mean, that's all good, great, absolutely fine. But then it kind of moved up the value chain and said, look, I'm a hands-on leader, but I'm not a hands-on leader. I delegate, but I have control mechanisms in place. Operating rhythm is very good, and I have worked for those companies where it was all great. Then comes now. I think it's more where leaders are expected to be stewards.
Right.
So it's not. I'm not expecting my manager to be a hands-on manager operationally, trying to do what I'm doing. So the definition of manager, leader is changing from an operationally strong hands-on manager to a controller to really now stewards. So I think that's a big tectonic shift that is going to happen. Those leaders who have realized this are the ones who would succeed. The leaders who have not realized this probably will fall by, and they will have to make way. Leaders need to know when to phase themselves out and get the new guys in.
I think that's very boldly put, Sandeep. I think very few people will have that boldness to say, it's time for me to phase out. Because that persistence, of course, keeps the leaders up every day. Very, very good point. Thank you so much for these thoughts. Now, Debashish, on to you. Of course, picking up on this thought. Any reflection that you see of technology in midst of what we've discussed so far? The value reflection. We've spoken about leaders being stewards, agility to be there. So, do you see any infusion of technology which could actually facilitate this ecosystem, or technology is just an alien to this thought process, or do you see some bridges that we build using technology and taking care of some of these things?
That's a great question. I think technology, as I see it, has to exist with human beings. A lot of times we debate and discuss about, is technology going to take over? It's not going to take over, it is to coexist. And
Right.
the earlier that we realize that, it is better. Now, I'll keep it short, but in the organizational context, there are three things that technology does. One is that, very simply put, it automates processes. Any mundane, routine, repeated process automates for you. Therefore, it becomes more efficient. You do it faster. Employer is happy, employee is happy, and it's a win-win situation. The next thing that the technology does is really faster communication. And that can be a communication through a meeting, communication through a town hall, even the training,
Right.
which is a learning communication, right? That's the second one. The third one is really about, making decisions, hopefully, because when you have a lot of data and analyze data, so when you apply ML and AI to it, it helps you take better decisions, or it enables you to certain perspective, right? From the organizational context, and therefore how it is related to leadership is this. On the second and third point, which is the communication part of it, while technology helps us, but sometimes we feel some leaders delegate the responsibility to technology, and that is wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
We are talking about social distancing, not emotional distancing.
Right.
You have to know as a leader when to stop that mobile phone and walk up to somebody and then talk to them.
Right.
That's the judgment that the leader should have to make the communication effective. The third thing, decision making. Again, we sometimes delegate the decision to a machine, right? For example, a quick one. Again, we have this wonderful employee attrition prediction models. It talks to you about different metrics. Somebody is not doing well, not coming to office, performance going down, and therefore, Debashish should leave the company in the next 3 months. Might be join Infosys,
Right.
which is great. But machine would not tell you that I have an ailing mother, I take care of that person, and therefore I'm performing well.
Right.
So, but if I do not do it and do certain things, and companies like increasing my salary, trying to engage me, doesn't help. So, as a leader, you must know where to not use technology and where not to delegate things to technology.
Right.
And that is a defining factor. That's the coexistence I'm talking about.
So what you're saying is it's just about walking up to, people, talking to them, and probably that sentiment catch is much more important than what a technology could actually discover for us, right? If I sum it up well. Great, thank you. Good thoughts there.
If I may just come in
Yeah,
a way,
please, yeah.
look, again, I think we can speak against the motion also.
Yeah, of course you can. You are the panel,
Look,
of course. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I'm not too sure if it may work in one kind of companies, it may not work in some other kind of companies. Wherein I don't think there are many companies where you have a different workforce.
Right.
Would be looking at any personal connect. A face-to-face personal connect. I mean, I love to give my example. My team is sitting there. I just keep sharing that with Shelly and all. My son, who's in grade 12 right now, he really locks himself in the room and studies. Say every time. Please. I'm sure those have kids
Yeah,
can relate
most
with
of
it.
people would agree,
Good,
right?
I'm feeling so happy after coming here now. And you keep knocking the door, and he'll open the door on his wish. So. We hadn't seen that, In
Right.
our days, if the parent says, "Okay, you come, it's dinner time," you jolly well be there. Now, they'll SMS and say, "Okay, is the dinner ready?" If the dinner is ready, then we'll come. Otherwise, we'll not. So, I think it's all the paradigm is shifting.
Right.
The learning agility, the desire to learn, I think is also kind of fading away through face-to-face. And I want to share that. I think you've got two great ex-HR leaders sitting here. You've got Raja here, and then you've got Rajesh there. I mean, what will we teach them? I mean, they've been, been leaders in their own rights, such big leaders. But this desire to see what is happening new is going to keep you alive. So I think that piece is important. So it's going to be very different.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different people. Some may be willing, some may not be willing, but I think we should be ready for the generation that is not willing to look at this face-to-face, personal touch, and be very matter of fact.
Right.
Maybe it is only my son, but I think that's the real workforce that is coming our way.
No, I think this generation, of course, you've spoken about so many, Gen X, Gen Z and all this stuff. But yes, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it won't matter to some organizations, and it would really matter to traditional organizations to be a motor-driven organization, to be talking to employees, doing those town halls and stuff. So that's a beautiful point. Any thoughts on this, Sandeep, on your side?
Just take the discussion forward, and to me, technology is enabler, and whether you accept it or you delay it, you will have to accept it.
Right.
Technology is not going away, and now this is very paramount for business and for our life. We can't live without technology, because we use every moment we use technology, and data analytics is going to help, and this helping the businesses in taking the business decisions. So I think it's very important, and it's not taking away the human touch. What I see and what I understand is it is empowering employees. I'm talking the business context. It is eliminating the all transactional kind of the bureaucracy, the hierarchy and all.
Right.
Because you have to have some rules written there, and technology is following that. When we come to talk about the industry where the manufacturing is happening, the industry 4.0, now we are talking about the 5.0. This is going to help the business going forward, or times to come. Even now, it's happening.
Right.
So how the data is collected, and artificial intelligence is helping taking right decisions. And it is going to 5.0 where the action will also be taken. So it's not removing. You can't have a manless factories. Largely, I would say. Not
Right.
Maybe some of the technology, maybe some of the products. But I think it is going to enable.
Right.
And you need more meatier role for the people. That requires workforce, skill development of the workforce, so that they can use technology and make it right thing. That is one part.
Sure.
Coming to leadership, and I often see leaders take decisions on technology, what technology to adopt. and they are the last person to adopt
Or use technology for that.
They use last. So that is, I think, paradigm shift we need to see, like, that leaders, those who are deciding the technology, they would love, like, the team members are bringing the reports and they are just seeing and taking some decisions. They don't use them.
So one expectation could be, as a leader, if you've chosen a technology, please learn it first, right?
Learn it first.
That's the expectation, right? So that you're able to reflect better. Okay.
And I strongly believe, like, empowering employees.
Empowering employees.
This empowers because you have everything on your production is happening and you have a dashboard on your tab and then you are doing some decisions.
Right.
So I think it is possible, and during pandemic we did a lot of things which we never thought we will do using technology. I remember, like, the quality inspections being done through Zoom calls, vendor side.
Right.
So it is possible, I think, and this is disruptive, I would say, in a way.
So you have some support, Debashish, right? I think you had some viewpoint here. Sandeep?
No, I just picked up a mic like that.
Okay, I thought you wanted to say something. No, good thoughts. So let me.
Just to add, now that you asked me a question, HR guys love to talk. That. Look, to the point that he was making, it is not so much about leaders. It is also about leaders adopting technology where they don't know themselves. It is, more importantly, if you don't know, then accept that you don't know.
Yep.
And forget about, I may not have the agility or whatever that people call it, agility or the whatever understanding. So I may not want to do that. But Baba, let the others at least do. So we create issues for them. So we said, no, this is not. The first thing that old leadership is going to be looking at a reason why it would not work. First of all, it's going to be expensive. It will take away, one-to-one connectivity, connection. Difficult to हमारे culture में नहीं चलेगा. ये नहीं. Boss, allow people to at least try. So the biggest piece, to my mind, is going to be change the mindset of the leader. And I may be sounding here, I hope my promoters are not listening to me here, that if the leaders don't change their mindset, then change the leaders. I think the time has come where otherwise people are going to get frustrated. Don't want to be working for which kid? Unfortunately, kids don't have an option of leaving the house. These days they do that. But if your father is not allowing you to, watch Netflix, so just imagine try doing that at home.
I think that's the happy lot now here because we have got.
So Sandeep, my point is, if leaders are not adaptable to this, the time will change them. What I'm saying is, like,
why wait for time to change them? I think it is time for them to either change or just change them.
But who?
Good point.
My question is, who will change them?
Lovely.
I think the bigger question is, who will change them? They are promoters, they are leaders, and many organizations, like, they are driving digitalization like crazy, I think. So those who are left out, they will fall in place.
Debashish, you're smoking. You want to say something?
Just one, I think, adding to the discussion here. I don't think it is possible to have a paradigm shift. I have not been using technology as a leader for about 30 years. That when Sandeep Girothar talks about the mindset, I have to have the mindset to understand, well, I can't do it myself. Therefore, I hire somebody who is very smart from this group who will do it for me. I don't think it is possible for me to do everything, and it's not expectation also.
Right.
But am I willing to hire people who are smarter than me, who are much more brilliant than me, who can challenge me, who can challenge status quo? And that is, I think, the solution.
Beautiful,
if you can do that, that's the solution.
I mean, if it is implemented in the essence of it, I think the paradigm shift is achieved, right? That's the point. Wonderful. Thank you so much.